Morgan, welcome to the Fearless Warrior podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be awesome.
Well, let's dive in. Let's start the conversation. Give our listeners just kind of a quick hit. Who are you? Where are you located? And what are you up to?
Yes, quick hit is I give lessons in Anaheim, California in just softball, doing all defense. So I'm very, very niched down. Who I am and was. I went to the University of Washington, graduated in 2011, and that's like forever ago now. So a lot of my girls, my lesson girls, have no idea that I even played college softball. But it's been super fun. I got to travel with the package deal pre-pandemic, so did that for 7+ years, and now I'm like really focused on my own stuff, doing lessons and clinics in just the defense world. And I started something called Defense Club. Originally was really focused on the mental game, and now we've expanded to just softball, mechanical wise, basically the bookends of your defensive game, like thinking about the game and playing the game at the highest level you possibly can.
So awesome. So let's kind of start from the beginning of, I know a huge part of your story is your time at Washington. If this interview goes in chronological order, I know that we'll jump around, but a big part of your why, like why Morgan Stewart, why Defense Club, why lessons, you post a lot about it on your Instagram. Share kind of your why, like what drives you to care about mental health and the mental game and bringing it together into the physicality of the game.
Yeah, great question. In terms of chronological order, I think my why starts probably when I was 12 years old, when I realized like people are watching me. I'm definitely a perfectionist. I'm definitely one of the quieter kids. And I really wanted to be the best, as like I know that aligns with a lot of kids that come through my facility. And my why was I was so hard on myself, like just so uh I mean, gosh, we all are, but in terms of my personality, I internalized a ton. And that I think kind of built up from the time I was 12 years old all the way up till somehow I got to Washington because I had a ton of talent and I was under the great mentors and coaches and got to Washington. My freshman year was a whirlwind, like just so much to learn, so much to absorb. Uh, did okay. My sophomore year, I think I was surrounded by really great leaders. We won in 2009. That was my sophomore year. And then my junior year, to me, a lot of things came crashing down on me. I I suffered from depression my junior year in college. And to me, there's definitely a line between the mental game and mental health, right? Like there's some of the skills will overlap, but in terms of mental health, I'm a super big advocate of putting yourself around good people, creating skills that promote you not to be sunk into things that you're predisposed of, like, depression wise, anxiety wise. But in terms of my why, going back to your question, I mean, I can ramble on forever, but in terms of your why, it would be to create an environment, share skills, and share my experience so that girls that are going through the same experiences as me and girls that are really similar to me personality wise don't feel like they're alone, don't feel like they are in a position where people don't understand them or in a position where there's no help in terms of being their best self and having the skills to make the most of their situation when the time comes. Because when I was at Washington, I felt like I had time wasted. That I like when you're especially a female college athlete, like you only have that amount of time to be on at this pinnacle of where you've been striving to be for your whole career as an athlete and training. And yeah, my why is just so that when they're there, they feel like they own the moment and that it doesn't escape them.
I love that term, own the moment. I think so. Going back to some of the conversations of other podcast interviews and guest speakers, is I don't think there's enough said about how nerve-wracking and what would be the word for it, of like your whole world is just completely flipped on its head as a freshman.
Uh, you think you know, but you have no idea. Like
Right.
you are preparing for this moment. Oh my God, okay, I'm 12 years old. I want to go to UCLA, Washington, Florida, Alabama, like all these big name schools, and like you see it on TV and you think you know. You think you know what they're doing, and you also are like in awe of them. You're like, oh my God, these athletes are so amazing. Whether they're at a huge school or like you just see these girls and they've got a college name on their chest, and you're just like, wow, how much work it took to get there, how much work they're doing as they're there, and they're athlete, and they're going to school. Amazing. You're in such awe. Then you get to high school and you're like, okay, this is what I want. I'm there. I'm getting recruited. I'm in the portal to get
Right.
to that level. And then once you step on campus, you're like, oh, this is the world that was that great unknown. That, I mean, you're either prepared to face a lot of unknown, like in terms of one, you'll never know exactly what it's like. So to me, that prepared or you're ready doesn't necessarily exist, other than you have enough confidence or skills in dealing with failure or dealing with the unknown that you're going to be okay no matter what. Like those skills that I'm talking about, like understanding how ready you can be, is really your ability to adjust and your ability to still be you and have that sense of identity, even when things don't go exactly how you imagined it, because they won't, because you can't imagine the unknown.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the brain fears unknown. So the more that you can create known, and having these conversations of, hey, it's not, I'm recruited, I've made it, I step on campus and all my problems are solved. Or this is now, I won't face any fear or any pressure. It's just another level. And so prepping your girls for that, how do we prep that next generation? I think you've talked about this a little bit of, we have to do more than just bring awareness to it. We have to bring action. And I think you're walking that walk. You're teaching your girls those skills that you're talking about for resilience and self-talk and, coping mechanisms like breathing techniques and visualization. And like literally you are part of the boots on the ground.
Well, and it's such a fine line too, right? Like I appreciate you saying that, but also like there's a good amount of me not kind of testing the waters and saying, okay, you do want to say, hey, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, but also there's this behind the curtain that you're not going to know, like you're not going to know it all. Like once you are committed and there's that pinnacle that's reached of like, oh, good, like I'm good enough. I'm going to go to college. Amazing. There's another layer, and then another layer, and another layer that you don't know is there until you're there. So like it's a balance of me building them up and going, yes, 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 you've got this. You're on the right path. This is exactly what you need to be doing. And you also don't have to be perfect. And also failure is required. And also like your dream school might not be the dream school that you thought you had when you were 12, or your fit might not be, there's a lot of conversations that happen to build them up to being, all right, we're going to send you off to college. You're committed. You're ready to go. And then there's another layer of freshman year. And what happened? We either got injured or we didn't play, or we did play and we felt guilt because we were playing over people that were working just as hard as us, but they didn't get the opportunity, or there's coaching issues, or there's a coaching change. And like, there's so many things that are just the intricacies of getting the most out of your experience. Like, what is that for each individual? Is it winning a national championship? Is it being an All-American? Is it having great mental health and being in a city that you love and still remaining connected with your family and still being the person that you entered into school with? Is it building your faith? Is it building your resiliency? Is it building your life skills? Is it getting a college degree because you're the first one in your family that's ever done it? Like, even that, just me brain dumping and just going, what is success? Most people think success is just one thing for everybody, and it's just not.
Right.
So like, in terms of us feeling the same thing all at the same time or being okay, it's very different. It's a very wide spectrum.
I love that you bring that perspective of all of those goals, even just brain dumping there of, I hope that parents and players are listening, realizing that if I look to my left or I look to my right, I think we get caught up in social media and recruiting and the recruiting profiles of, oh, such and such college looked at me. And yeah, I mean, did you get that feeling when you walked onto campus at Washington of like, this is where I was meant to be?
When I first walked on campus, I was just in shock of how cool it was. Like, it's a beautiful campus, huge brick buildings. I went in September, so it's like perfect weather. It didn't rain for at least 3 days that I was there. So it's beautiful. I did get that like aha feeling of like, whoa, is this like me? Like, does this match me?
Yeah.
So I did get that feeling. Some people don't get that feeling. I had a lot of teammates that were just like, yeah, this was one of like a lot of trips that I took. And I'm like, great, good for you. Like, I guess I'm different, or so, like everybody's got their own story and how they ended up there. But I think there's something really big to be said about, it takes all kinds of people. Like, even on your travel ball team, there's going to be like this spray of where people end up. And some people won't end up anywhere. And that's like, they still played travel softball and they were still good, but they won't end up anywhere. And the sport is growing. So that's happening more and more. Like, there's more people that end up in travel ball, but in reality, there's not more scholarships. There's maybe a couple more programs that exist, like a Duke softball exists now that didn't before. Okay, great. More scholarships available, but our sport's just been growing. So in terms of this spray that I'm talking about, you're going to get the type of athlete that fits out of Washington. But even within like my college team, there were the girls that, oh, she's wants to be a nurse. So the amount that she can even like mentally give to a practice, like she's leaving practice early to go to a lab that's only available on Mondays at 4 p.m. And like, that's just part of her life's journey. Like, that spray exists. And like, to be frank about it, like, that girl probably won't be a starter on Washington because she's missing practices, or she just can't devote the extra reps to being in the lineup because she can't do that extra lonely work that it takes. And that's all part of the journey. Like, some people don't need to be a starter, but they're still a super high achiever. They're going to a D1 college. They're going to be a nurse. They're like, their life path is like something different than somebody that, okay, we made it to Washington, we're doing all the extra work, and we're still not a starter. Or we made it to Washington, this person may or may not do extra work, and they got a full ride scholarship. And there's just so many different stories and reasons, and people want the one path that doesn't exist. It doesn't. Like, there's guides, there's check marks of like, hey, what should I do? More practice will most often equal higher skill level. Okay. Journaling will most likely lead to more awareness or better perspective or understanding of what you want. But for some people, journaling doesn't work. For some people, no matter how hard they practice, they're not going to be starter. But there's things that also will come out of those things. One of my sayings that I tell the girls, like, hard work will always pay off. And this makes some of my girls like really mad. Like, I practice more than this girl, but she still starts over me. I do more than this girl and she still starts over me. I'm like, okay, but do you not understand that you're also building character? Like, you're building these experiences, and like, you are putting in the work, and that is amounting to something. And this will not be felt until later down the road when you've started your own business because you've created these things for yourself, and that person maybe doesn't get a job out of college because things have been kind of given to them in a certain sense of the
Sure.
word. So I so ramble when I talk about like mentality and the skills,
But I
but
love that perspective of it's not lost. It's
no.
not like the work is not lost and it doesn't define you,
Well,
whatever your path is.
exactly. And going back to like my why of, I don't want wasted time of like my college career. Like I feel like largely my junior year of college is like a black hole of like honestly, in reality, a lot of my memories are blacked out because I was so hard on myself. My brain's like defending itself, and my memory just isn't there from that year. And I think about it and it makes me sad sometimes. It makes me like regret that I wasn't nicer to myself. I didn't practice good self-talk, so that I created this storm for myself before it even happened. But also, no matter what happens to you, like I'm here sharing this, or I was driven to share this message, or to create my business, or to create an environment that talks about that creates a safe space because of that black hole of events that happen. So like that's something that I continue to share with my girls that are having a hard time in college right now. Right now, there's people that are at high level schools that you would never know that are having a hard time, that I share my story with, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Like, no, a lot of people can't really be reached when they're in that dark time, but just knowing that something will come of it if you give it time and space to let it work inside you, like let it work. Yeah. It's powerful. Like perspective is very, very powerful.
I think it's the uncomfortable. Like in the moment, you cannot draw somebody, you can't help somebody when you're at your darkest. You give it time and space. Once you pass through those murky waters, the ability to walk somebody else through those waters. I mean, I think about my time at college. I had kind of a reverse situation. We didn't have a successful season until my senior year, and there were plenty of times overcoming a shoulder surgery. I was playing NAI. I was that girl that I wanted to stay close to home. Fun fact, I know a lot of my followers know this, but I was originally committed to a school that closed down 3 weeks before school was supposed to start. It was a small NAI school and they were trying to get reaccredited. And so before college even started, I had committed to this school. I had a weird feeling of like, I don't know why, but I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my best option. Recruiting wasn't, I was a star pitcher in my small hometown school, but I didn't know how to get recruited. And so I knew I wanted to stay close to home. I transferred to the college I ended up going to. I did have that aha moment of, okay, I'm home. This is where I'm supposed to be, 30 minutes away from my parents. I actually ran a college coffee shop and I was in the business club. And had I gone any higher or played Division I softball, I wouldn't have been able to have those opportunities. And it, like Morgan, it did not dawn on me until my adult life when I saw the Nebraska softball team in the airport as I was leaving for a business trip of, wait a second, of course they would have to hop on an airplane and fly on Wednesday, Thursday to get to a Friday, Saturday. Like, why did that not compute? Like, I don't think people think about, if you want to play Division I softball, or if you want to chase these really big goals, like it is going to take, and again, now I'm rambling of like,
no,
I think all of these perspectives we've had now years later that maybe we didn't have in those moments.
Well, your world is only as big as you've seen, right? If we don't see, like, I don't know, I think about what we could potentially see as 12, 13, 14-year-olds. We're like, okay, what do we want? I want to be like the people on TV, or I want to, and you only see that. Oh, I want to wear this on my chest. But in reality, you're not like, I mean, now with the whole discussion about the Pac-12 disbanding and all these teams moving to the Big Ten, and some people are like, oh, end of an era. Okay, that sucks. We can't say go pack anymore because I mean, I played in the pack. But you look at the trickle down effect of how this is going to affect the athletes. Like that's another travel day. That's less time in class. That's like there's so much impact. And then when you choose to go one of these big universities that's affected by the big football teams and those decisions, and I mean, it's stuff that as high school kids we shouldn't really need to worry about it, but it's going to affect us.
Right.
So
well, and then you throw NIL. I think you had a post on Instagram. I love following you. You had a post on Instagram. It was a while back. It was probably a year ago. And I still remember that moment because I reference it on calls. You and I come from a generation where I think Instagram became a thing in the later years of college, and it was just like fun photos. Like the first post I posted on Instagram was a gingerbread house with a fun filter.
I don't even remember. I think I had like pancakes one time. I'm like, oh, these are yummy. Like that's it. Wasn't reels. It wasn't like, hey, buy this Buick. Like all these athletes are now these influencers, ambassadors, and I'm like, wow, look how far this has come. It's another, could be distraction, but just another factor of life now that people have to think about. And the more that we chop up our time, the less we can be like just thinking about college is such a time for growth and development, and where already as athletes going into college, we feel like we should be done, like this is us. This is our identity. This is who they recruited me as. Okay, I'm going to perform at this level that I promised I would be at. I promised, like, this is who I am. I know I'm going to get better as I go to college, but like, I'm here. Like, we already have that feeling of like, this is us. Now we add on social media of, oh, this is what I look like. This is how I present myself. This is who I am for brands and all this stuff. Oh my God, I'm so happy I did not have that in addition. It's a lot.
I can't imagine. Well, even for our own businesses, I think you and I would probably experience the same feelings of like, some weeks I'm feeling on top of it and I'm posting the trendy reels with the trendy music. And I'm like, woo, I posted 3 times this week. And then there have been times where I haven't literally posted for 3 weeks plus.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about my career and thinking about like all these different skills that we potentially could do or learn, I apply that to business all the time of like, some weeks I mean, this is a controversial term to use. Some people don't like to use the word slump, but I for sure feel like sometimes I get in a business slump of I'm grinding, I'm there. I'm every day you're doing something, but there's some days that it doesn't show up in the stats. Like you don't post a reel, you don't get that one-on-one interaction where you're smiling and you're totally yourself. Maybe one of your customers or lessons gets you when you're tired, gets you like right after you got off a call that you didn't really understand and you needed to make notes, but you didn't have time because you needed to get gas. And then you you showed up for lessons and you're like, I'm here. I'm going to do my best. My best is like at my 60%, but you're going to get it right now.
Yeah.
Like it's the same skills that we learn every day. And like every day consistency is freaking tough. That's hard to be consistent and give your energy every day, but it's what we do. And the more that we can preach, like that it is a process, that 100% doesn't mean 180%. It means like your 100% that day is great, is amazing. That's what we're asking. And as like high level performers, people that are developing and growing every day, like that's the ask, right? And if you want to be like better than the person next to you, it's not going to be, it ends up not being that competition between you and them. It's that competition of, can you be consistently you? Can you be that? Then that's that's the question. Like that is like that work that we put in, because we're all born with like this innate talent, innate personality. What can we give? Like, how can we be the best teammate? Like, if I had 12 of myself or 18 or how many people are on a team now, I don't know what would happen. Like,
right. Same on my end.
like we do not know, but because team is such like a beautiful thing, because there's so many different types of us. Imagine if we gave our 100% of the best us. Like, that's when we create chemistry. That's when teams are championship teams and we fall into roles and we embrace our roles. Like, that's the magic. That's the coolest part, right? So, God, I love this stuff.
Can you talk about that though? Because I think you play that role of, I want to advocate for the shy kid. I want to advocate for the kid that, their coach has said, be louder, speak up, or maybe this isn't the right term, but the ones that shrink to the back of the line, or the ones that don't come off as cocky or confident. Like, talk about, like, what do you wish for those? Like, if you were to send a message and you are listening to this podcast and you are like, yes, Morgan, like, that's me, what would you tell her?
Okay, one big thing. I was definitely would not raise my hand, never popcorn read. Like, please don't call on me in class, like in school, right? Go to the softball field. And softball field was like, I was definitely hard on myself, but I would also, there's a difference between shy kids that won't say anything and like people that don't really want to be the center of attention, but you know your role. Like, part of softball is you've got to call the ball. You've got to communicate on the field, because that's a requirement of the game. Like, that's, even when people come into lessons and we're practicing communication. All right, call it. People don't say anything. I'm like, okay, hey, whoa. I get that you don't want to say anything because you're quiet and you're embarrassed and maybe you don't know what to say. I'm going to tell you exactly what to say. You say, mind, ball. I got it. I don't care what you say or how, but these are your options. You have to do it, or else you can't be a softball player. Like, that's like number one. It's a safety issue and it's a mechanic of the game. Done. Like we can practice that. Also, with this is, I wish I would have known this when I was 12. People are so much more concerned with what they look like, what they're saying. And it's really not about you. That I wish I would have contributed or gone first more often, because those people that go first get more reps, they get more opportunity, and they get more help. So it's like a cheat code, right? It's a cheat code for the coach's time. It's a cheat code. And I know it's so hard. It's so hard to get out of yourself and like get out of your head and just let yourself do it. But the more that you do it and the more you practice, the better you're going to be at it. So I was that kid of like, I'm not going to go first. I'm not going to give my opinion really until I got to coach at the package deal, like with those girls. And that's like after I graduated college, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, communicating takes practice. Using your voice, learning what you want to say takes practice. Like, I have always been this person, but being able to communicate with the world is like another skill and another gift that needs to be cultivated. And some people have this natural want to say what they think. Some people have this natural push in them to go first. And there's others of us that don't want to because we're embarrassed, or we don't need to be the center of attention. And that's cool. Like, those are my people. Like, I see you in the back. Like, I see that fire. Like, you want to be good, but you don't need to be in the middle. You don't need to have people looking at you, or you don't need the camera on you. And those are sometimes the best leaders, because those are the people that don't need the attention, but people listen when that person opens their mouth, because it means,
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
That's important. Like,
if Morgan is saying something, we better listen, because what she's about to say is going to be gold.
Yes. And then you've got some power there that is like untapped. So what I would say is 100% what you say and think is valuable. Like never ever discount, oh, someone else is going to say it. Oh, somebody else will do it. Oh, that would be one regret I had as a player, is that I did have some really good thoughts and things to say, but I thought someone else would do it. Right. But yeah, there's different roles and different things, that different places that we fall into based on if we're ready to share that or not.
Yeah. But what a more beautiful place to share it in the four corners of a cage or on a field with 12 to 15 to 18 of your closest friends. You may not be friends with everybody on your team, but I would much rather fail, even as an extrovert, I would much rather fail in that environment than a class, right? A class or the real world or my future job or a relationship. Like I would choose to fail in the walls of softball time and time again. And I think you have to realize that.
Yeah, I think I've had so many, like, where I'm trying to write either a post or, create content for these people that are in, I think about my middle school self. Like this is 11, 12, 13. That's probably the most shy, the most scared you can be, because now instead of at recess where you're the tomboy or you're the girl that plays sports, that's cool because, all right, I get picked first or I'm the captain of my teams. Now you're at PE and people are like wearing makeup and now have cell phones. And like now we see the outside world and we're like, oh, I'm being judged. Oh, like people can see me and I'm supposed to be putting on, like, I'm supposed to look a certain way and be a certain way. And oh, if I play softball, I'm the sporty girl now. I'm not like, I don't know, like you're developing your identity. And like if you develop your identity in a place that you're afraid, that you are unsure what it looks like, it's God, I just feel it was like a petri dish of different ways that this can go, like there's so much to it, which is when I look at parents and like their duty with a kid that's in sports, it's that I know that there's a lot that they're thinking about. And so as a coach, like if I can give them tools of, here's like requirements of these shy kids, like they're going to have to communicate in games. And also I used to be that, but in life, you have to be able to communicate, period. Like, yes, I know that there's a lot of parents that come up to me like, she's shy. And, like I can tell the parents that want their daughter to be confident, but also are making like kind of excuses and allowances for them to be shy and not talk.
They're holding on to a belief.
They're holding on to this identity for their daughter of like, oh, she's quiet, so like don't expect too much of her. And I'm like, you know what? Communication is a life skill. It's not just like, hey, I want her to be confident because she's going to be happier and she can go all out and play. She's going to learn more faster if she's having fun, and she's going to have fun if she's not afraid of being judged. So like we're going to hit this barrier like really hard. Like somebody comes in, hey, this is what you do. You put your glove down, you put your water bottle down, we go play wall ball, and all these girls are going to be nice to you because that's how we are. Like, don't worry about anybody else. Everybody drops the ball. Don't even worry about it. And then they go play. Like that is the foundation of what I do and like how I do it. Because if we know like the basic expectation is that this is a place where we're going to go all out and we're going to have fun and we're going to fail, then the expectation isn't like, oh my God, I saw this on social media and nobody drops the ball. And I was literally just, this is one of the reasons why I was late. 1 minute late. This is really bad. I'm going to say it on this. And we're already like, man, I talk so much. 1 minute late because I'm
old identities, old scars from college softball.
Still like, oh, we're 1 minute
gotta
late.
Be on time.
But yeah, no, I was late because I was looking at this reel that I was putting together of all the dropped balls, because like I had this one family that came in before the lesson, I could tell that the daughter was shy. Afterward, they're like, man, that was really awesome. I could see her mentality shift from being like needing to be perfect to like just having fun out there and like learning. And like, that's the biggest compliment I can get in a first time lesson, because social media is one thing, right? You see all these girls, or you see perfection, or you see the highlight reel. But in reality, there's so many times we freaking drop the ball because we're trying to be faster, or we're looking at the wrong thing and we make an adjustment. Yeah, like defense, the standard is a 0.97. I was just talking to, I'm going to ramble for like 2 more minutes and I'm going to shut up. But I had Lou Colon, who's USA Baseball. He trains professional infielders for a living. His standard, he goes, yeah, our standard is 0.97 fielding percentage. That means you field 30 ground balls in a row perfect. Like, that's the standard for a major league infield. Okay. We strive for perfection, essentially, on the defensive side of the game. But in order to get there, in order to develop into that professional that doesn't make mistakes, how many mistakes happen in that process? So many. And that's what I want to capture and talk about. Like, I'm not trying to make them fail, but if they fail, I don't care. But it's about the process. Like, how do you fail? Are you failing going all out? Or are you failing because you're on your heels and you're scared to make a mistake? That's a completely different type of failure. Okay, I'm done.
I love that so much. But okay, going back to parents, I know we had talked about this at the beginning before you and I hit record of, we are that triangle, right? Where we work with the athletes, we talk to the parents, we're that connector point. I think so often parents are praising athletes of, you didn't mess up, you didn't strike out at all. And then I get athletes on my one-on-one calls where they're saying, hey, Coach AB, I didn't strike out at all this weekend. And I'm like, that's not a win in my book. Striking out is part of the game. Like, that's not a benchmark. That's a result. So what's the process? And getting 30 ground balls, you're talking about MLB, like the bigs, the majors, the pros, not 12-year-olds. Yeah. Not 14-year-olds, not even 18-year-olds ready to go to college. It's something we can strive for. And I think going back to praising, like, did you go all out? Did you have fun? That's the best compliment I've ever gotten from a parent. Like, how do you replicate that? Like, if you could reach through this microphone and say, parents, if you're listening, like, just do these things. Like, please, for the love of all things holy, please support your child in these ways. I know.
Only praise process. Praise the process. Okay. They get a hit. They go 5 for 5. I mean, that's amazing. Be happy about it. But also, hey, I loved that every single at bat, you had a quality at bat. Like, one of your at bats where you had a hit, I saw your process kind of flounder a little bit. You kind of got lucky on that hit, maybe, but like, it's the process. It's the process. So like, when parents are mad that their kid went 0 for, don't be mad because they didn't get a hit, right? Like, one, that's a whole nother conversation. Like, if parents should even be mad about performance at all. But in reality, it should be that you're holding them to a standard of their effort and their attitude. Like, that's the standard, not the hits, not the errors. Like, what led up to that? Be watching their eyes, be watching what they're focused on, be watching how they're preparing. Are they taking a breath? Like, are they their best selves? I think that's one thing that I'm so thankful of my mom for, is like, when we are like just hanging out now, like, she knows, I guess this is a message also for the kids too, is your parents know you. Your parents know you better than you think. They've known you longer than you've known yourself in reality.
Right.
They know your tendencies. They know your tics. They know when you are in it and when you're not. They can see that. And a parent, I think, and sometimes this gets lost because there's so much invested in softball. There's so much invested in youth sports in general, money, time, the sacrifice, everything that's layered into this. And so parents kind of, sometimes I think that outburst that happens, or that ride home that's so detrimental, sometimes that happens because of all that stuff that's compounded in there. That's tough. I'm not a parent. I do not know how much it hurts, or how much like is pent up and you're holding on to for that explosion to happen. But if I'm the parent, I talk about process, and that's going to lead to ultimately more success and like so much healthy conversation versus things that are out of your control. You can have the best process, you can have the best at bat, you still hit a line drive at the third baseman, and essentially that's not a good outcome, which you did everything you were supposed to do.
Right.
Process.
And it's an evolution. It's a practice, right? Like just as much as we wouldn't expect our players to get these skills, whether it be physical skills or mental skills, like this is an evolution, parents, where you're going to have to be intentional about this. You're going to have to practice it. You're going to catch yourself praising a result, or praising or punishing or criticizing. It's a practice. And so I've gotten a lot of DMs and messages from the podcast. I know our podcast is like really new still, but like parents, this is very eye-opening. So keep doing the work, parents. You're doing the work. You're just the fact that you're listening to this conversation right now is amazing. So give yourselves a little love. Give yourself some kudos.
I honestly, yes, parents have a very, very tough job. I was working actually my front desk yesterday at lessons. So I was talking to parents, which I normally am just out on the floor, just coaching. And I had a couple parents like ask for advice, or, just we're chit chatting. And I'm like, man, it would be so hard to be on this side and feel so out of control of not just what you're investing financially in, but like who your kids are around, what they're learning, and picking up. It's very difficult. And I think like, it's easy to get sucked into like the drama of like, oh, so-and-so's playing because she's the coach's daughter, or this is happening because this is happening. And that's also one piece of advice that I would have for parents is like, those conversations can be between you and your spouse, or between maybe you and other parents, but like, know that everything that you say is also a reflection on your kid. So like things get like passed around. And also everything that you say to your athlete, she's picking up too. Like, this costs so much, or you're not playing because of like the coach's daughter is playing over you. Like, how is that equipping her? How is what the conversation you're having helping her? Is it helping her?
That's a good benchmark. Yeah. Is this hindering or helping? I think, yeah, that adds a total layer of, oh my gosh, how is your tone and excitement when you're driving her to practice every week, right? Like if it's a chore and it's a drudgery and you're annoyed by it, that's adding a layer of guilt and expectation.
Yeah. And then I had one other thought. I mean, I've got like three big ones, I guess. Is one big one that I used to feel as a player, 12, 13, 14 years old. I'd leave the car and my mom or dad would be like, hey, have fun. And I'd roll my eyes like, oh God, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about me getting better, mom. It's about me like getting
a scholarship. Mom.
You don't get it. You don't get it. But like parents that say that, you are the freaking warriors, because it is about that. It is about that. Not just because that's the different standard. Like the standard isn't just have fun. It's not just this, because I think kids, when they're in that age of like, you don't get it, mom, okay, is because kids see this like line of what the work is, right? Like in rec ball, when we're in t-ball, yeah, it's about having fun and laughing. Then it's about developing. I'm going in lessons, and like now it's about understanding. Okay, now I'm in middle school, high school. Now it's about getting a scholarship. It's about being the best. It's about starting. And now in college, like I'm trying to be an All-American. It's all serious. It's a job. But go back to t-ball. Go back to like why we learn so fast. Go back to why we are playing this. Why this is part of our like something we do every day because it was fun.
And it's a free country. Nobody's forcing you. This isn't a job. Nobody's forcing you to play this sport.
I mean, it's in reality, it's not a job, guys. But in reality, we are only learning if we're free to focus on things. And a lot of times our focus comes when we're having fun, when we're competing, when we're letting our body flow and like
in the flow,
be in the moment. The best way to get yourself in the moment is to have fun. So the most elite players, if you watch Major League Baseball, if you watch professional softball, because now it's more on TV, if you watch the college game, a lot of those players aren't like, yeah, when we're in the box, we're focused. I'm trying to hit a freaking ball with a round bat. It's hard. But after we get an out, when we're on the field, we're laughing, we're joking, we're like, we know all these people around us and we're having fun.
Yeah.
Having fun is an elite conversation. So, parents, when you're telling your kid to get out of the car, it's not wrong to say have fun. You will get backlash. You will. And they won't listen to you for a little bit, but they are going to look back and go, oh.
Your daughters will be sitting in their 30s on a podcast interview saying, thanks, Mom. My mom said the same thing. Just smile, AB. Smile, AB. It's like, oh my gosh, Mom, stop saying that from the stands.
Please stop. Please stop.
Yeah. But I cherish. Those are my most fond memories. Shout out to Mama Beeson. But yeah.
Shout out to all the parents that are telling their kids to have fun, because they're, even when their kids think their mom and dad don't get it, that they're asking them to have a smaller standard. They're actually on the other end of the spectrum. And there's fun on both. There's fun when you start the game, and there's fun at the most elite levels. That's when you make it, when you can do that.
So good. Well, this is a perfect segue. I know we're going to close up this conversation. I have two more asks of you. One is a question that we ask all of our podcast interviews. If you could become a time traveler, we have a time machine, you could go back in time, what message would you want to tell past Morgan?
The message that I would want to tell past Morgan is a couple things, two things, only two, if I only get two. Okay. It gets better. It gets better. And that's like to the me that is always stressed out, or thinks that like I'm not good enough, or thinks that I failed, or thinks that I'm wasting time. There's a reason for it, and it does get better. You get out of that spot. Other thing, popcorn read. Even when it's uncomfortable, like, don't just sit there and be so nervous and be sweating and like be hyperventilating because you're gonna have to read out loud. Oh my God. Like, just do it, and do the reading at home, because I was probably scared because I wasn't a fast reader and all my friends are doing their reading at home and I'm like just doing just enough. That was a foreshadowing. Like, do your work at home so you're prepared to popcorn reading class.
That's some meta stuff right there. Full circle moments. I love it so much. This has been such a fun conversation. I know that you and I have connected through the package deal back when you were in Nebraska. Talk to us a little bit about where can we follow? What resources do you have? We'll link everything in the show notes, but can you give us the best ways to stay connected with you?
Yes, the absolute best way. I spend most of my time on defense lessons on Instagram. I'll post just about every day. Maybe I'll take 1 or 2 days off, but I'm posting every day. I'm posting for specifically softball players and parents and coaches, defense lessons on Instagram. You can find everything about me, morgan-stewart.com. So that'll lead you to Defense Club. That'll lead you to like more of my resources. And yeah, that's where I'm hanging out right now.
And touch a little bit on Defense Club, because a lot of this podcast is the mentality, knowing that there's lots of resources out there. Give us a quick hit. Tell us a little bit about Defense Club.
Defense Club is where I have everything, all of my resources in one spot. So if you're like, oh, where's the videos of all your drills? Where's the mentality courses that you've talked so much about? Where's your collaborations that you did with maybe a Sydney Romero or an Adrian Gomez, or like all these people that you post on your social media? Where is that? Defense Club. So it's my membership. I'm super proud of it. It's going to keep molding and growing just like we all are. So yeah, that's where all my stuff is.
Amazing. And again, we'll post everything below. Morgan, again, thank you so much for your time and your passion. I love it so much.
Of course, I'm always here. Always just an email away.
Awesome. Till next time.
Yep.